Passing is the most important skill in soccer. Okay, you could say passing and receiving, but if you can't pass, you're not going to be able to play on a team. Okay, this is a team sport. Everyone needs to be able to control. Everyone needs to be able to pass. So if you can't do that, you're going to fail. You're going to have a lot of stress on the field, and your teammates are going to get really upset with you. Now, if you can develop your passing skill, and I know you can, if you just put in the practice and you apply what I teach you, then you can be a playmaker. Then you can be the heartbeat of your team. So before we get into specific technique on how to pass the ball in different ways, I just want to talk about a few ideas you should always think about when passing. So number one is the quality of your passes. Don't pass the ball where the player is, pass it where they're going to be. Okay? So if they're going into space, you need to pass in front of them. You can't pass it behind them. Pass with pace. Okay, so yes, there are times when you need to do a light-weighted pass, but when you're playing into your teammates' feet, you need to put some pace on it. If you don't pass it hard enough, the pass is going to get intercepted, and it's just not going to be good quality. So every time you stroke a pass, think about putting good pace, keeping it on the ground, no bouncing passes, just holding yourself to a higher standard. Okay, after you pass, I always want you to move into space, pass and move, pass and move, pass and move. That's the basis of attacking football. Here I want to talk specific passing techniques. So we're going to show you a couple of different variations. The first one is with the inside of your foot. Okay, so when you're passing the ball, I really want you to flex this foot. Okay, it shouldn't be a weak ankle. It shouldn't just be swinging your leg through the ball. Okay, you need to flex that foot, make it firm, make it flat. Okay, so I'm almost trying to lift my toes up here. Instead of being down like this, I'm trying to lift my toes. I'm trying to make this surface as flat as possible. When I pass, I'm trying to direct that straight through to my target. Next pass is the outside of the foot. Now, if you're growing up in North America, I'm sure you've probably been told not to pass with the outside of your foot, only to pass with the inside. Okay, I don't want you to do that. If you watch European players, you watch any clubs, especially in their youth teams, they're always teaching them with the outside of the foot, the outside of the pass. Why? Because it's quicker release. Okay, if I want to pass the ball this way, but I need to turn my foot, to do that slower, if I can just snap with the outside of my foot, okay, it's much more efficient, and it just gives you more variety in your passing. So when you're doing this, you're trying to almost step through the ball. Okay? Yes, again, flex foot. You're hitting with the outside of your foot. So this, but I'm trying to snap through it like that. Okay? If you get really low like that, that will help as well. Snap through the ball. You just pass it back to me. Next, I want you to think about playing in dimensions. Okay, so if you're always playing on the ground, you're predictable, and if a player puts out his foot, he's likely to stop your pass. So sometimes, all you need to do is think in dimensions. Instead of always playing on the ground, you can play in the air. And sometimes all it takes is a little flick over the defender's foot, or a little chip over the defender's foot to get the ball to your teammate. Now here we're going to demonstrate with a bit more distance. Okay, but working on your chipping technique is very important. When I'm chipping the ball with a traditional chip, I'm basically trying to jam my toes underneath the ball, okay, on the underside of the ball, right here. Okay, I'm not trying to hit the ball in the center, I'm trying to hit under the ball, the grass under the ball. Okay, and then you're going to follow through, short follow through, but your toes need to be directed towards your target, okay? If you lean back more, it'll help you get the ball up more. If I'm crouched over like this, it's tough for me to get height on the ball. So if you want more height, you want to lean back a bit more. here I want to focus on the long pass. Okay, and I'm focusing mainly on a long driven pass because I think this is the best pass for covering long distances. Okay, if the ball is put up in the air and there's lots of height on it, it's very easy for all the defenders to react because the ball's still in the air, it's traveling, it's taking a long time to get there. Okay, so if you want to be efficient with your long passing, I would prefer you have a lower trajectory, so it's still above head height, but it's much lower. It's like a drive, okay, rather than a chip in the air. So when you're doing that, it's like taking a shot with your laces, except you're coming through the side of the ball. Okay, so instead of coming straight on like this, I'm coming from the side like this. Okay, and I'm basically hitting, again, under the ball, not so much like a chip, but I'm aiming more under it rather than in the middle. Okay, if you hit in the middle or the uppercut, it's going to create topspin and make it go into the ground. If you're hitting it under here, you're going to get underneath it, you're going to create backspin, and you're going to be able to get it in the air. This comes down to practice. I want you to go against a wall and just practice this daily if you really want to master this technique. When you're in your training sessions, get with a teammate at least 10 minutes practicing long balls with both feet. Last thing I want you to think about after you make every pass is analyzing the pass. Okay, if it was a good pass, why was it good? What did you do with your technique? Which space did you try to put it into? If it was bad, why was it bad? Which technique did you use? What should you try differently next time? Where did you pass it? Where should have you passed it? Should you have passed it earlier? Should you have passed it later? Okay, learning to analyze your own technique, your own mistakes is one of the most valuable tools you can use for your development.